They better have something better than water. I'm not going back. No, I'm just kidding. You can have whatever you want. I'm kidding. I'm not.
Okay, council, come on up. It's time to start. My goodness, it's exciting tonight. So exciting. I can feel it out there. Are we all here? All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Pacifica. And welcome to the special city council meeting of the city of Pacifica. Today is December 15th. We're going to open the meeting at 6:06. A little late. Sorry about that. We have a really special, important night tonight, so I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to see all of you in our beautiful room, and we're going to begin. Sarah, can we do roll call?
Councilmember Beckmeyer.
Present.
Councilmember Vaterlaus.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Big Stick.
Present.
Mayor Beer.
Here. Okay, I'm going to read the land acknowledgement. For the last time, I'm really going to miss reading the land acknowledgement. The City of Pacifica acknowledges that we occupy the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. We honor the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples for their enduring commitment to Mother Earth. As the indigenous protectors of this land, and in accordance with their traditions, the Ramaytush Ohlone have never ceded, lost, nor forgotten their responsibilities as caretakers of this place, as well as for all peoples who reside in their traditional territory. We affirm their sovereign rights as First Peoples and wish to pay our respects to the ancestors, elders, and relatives of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. Okay, we'll now salute the flag led by Councilmember O'Neill.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so the purpose of this meeting tonight is our reorganization meeting. It is also to certify the November 8th, 2022 municipal election results. And so it's a really exciting evening. Sarah, did you have some information to share with the public watching from home?
I'll pull up the slide for calling in for public comment. First item on the order of business will be the consent calendar with item number 1, and that is for the certification of the election results. Those wishing to comment on that item that are joining by watching the meeting remotely or on the live stream or local channel 26, dial in to 650-898-6965. Enter conference ID 383-609-442. Press star 5 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute when it's called upon by the last 4 digits of your phone number. Please mute any background sound from your TV or live stream and listen through your phone if you're dialing in for making public comments remotely. We'll have the public comment on the consent calendar item first, and then the mayor will call upon public comments after that for the presentations to the council and the reorganization.
Yeah, there'll be several times for public comment tonight, so you can look forward to that. And if you did not put a permit on the dashboard of your car, please do so now so you don't get a ticket. They're downstairs in the lobby.
Mayor Beer?
Yeah.
No special permit is needed for tonight.
Oh, sorry, everyone.
No permit.
No permit is needed.
No permit.
The one night that no permit is needed.
Yeah.
We're meeting on a special meeting night.
I was
tonight.
just looking out for you.
You scared people.
I did. Sorry. All right. Well, then we have the consent calendar with one item on the consent calendar, which is the resolution declaring the returns and results of the general municipal election.
I move we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Mayor Beer, were there any public comment cards for consent? Or any dialing in?
We'll open public comment. Are there any public comments on consent?
There are no dial-ins.
No dial-ins. Anyone from the audience wish to comment on the consent calendar? Okay, we'll close public comment. Bring it back to council. Hi, Michelle. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
And the motion was made by Councilmember O'Neill to approve the consent calendar item. The second was made by Mayor Pro Tem Big Stick.
Okay. So moving on to our next item, which is our
And the vote board is not working. Let me reset and see if we can.
Of course it isn't.
Okay, let's
we'll just do it.
try the votes again. And the consent calendar passes unanimously.
Thank you, Sarah. Wow, I'm unusually nervous tonight. I feel all like tingly and stuff. Okay, so our next item is our outgoing council member. And as you all know, Mike O'Neill is our outgoing council member tonight. So this is a very special night for all of us. And you can see by the big banner in the back, he's had 24 years of service to our community. So this is a really special evening. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to read this proclamation for you, Mike.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so here I go. All right, proclamation of the City of Pacifica in recognition of Mike O'Neill. Whereas the tenure of Honorable Mike O'Neill with the City Council of the City of Pacifica is drawing to a close following 10 years of service in the role, following 3 successful elections, 1 partial term and 2 full terms in 2012, 2014, and 2018. And whereas Mike O'Neill has dedicated his life to enhancing Pacifica in numerous capacities, serving 1.5 years on the City of Pacifica Disaster Preparedness Committee, 6 years on the City of Pacifica Planning Commission, and 14 years as trustee of the Pacifica School District Board of Trustees. And whereas Mike O'Neill has promoted volunteerism within the community, showcased by his work with the Boys and Girls Club, the Pacifica Historical Society, the Pacifica School Volunteers, and 4-H. And whereas Mike O'Neill has prioritized student safety and education through his contributions to the Pacifica School District Board of Trustees, the Pacifica Library Foundation Board, the San Mateo County Library Joint Powers Authority, the San Mateo Local Agency Formation Commission, and whereas Mike O'Neill has championed resources for Pacifica, including the Pacifica School District Workforce Housing Project, the Pacifica 4-H Club establishment, and the Pacific Coast Television Studio, the last of which earned him the Pacific Coast Television Honors Award in 2022. And whereas Mike O'Neill's leadership has protected its coast and community with critical city projects such as the General Plan Update, the Sharp Park Specific Plan, and the Beach Boulevard Infrastructure Resiliency Project. And through his service on commute.org and the San Francisco Airport Roundtable. And whereas Mike O'Neill is a historian of all things Pacifica, his knowledge has led to many interviews and trivia games dedicated to Pacifica history. Mike is also known to play Santa Claus at community events. Mike has kept his city colleagues on their toes for the past 12 years and will be missed tremendously. Now, therefore, I, Mary Beer, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Pacifica and all its citizens, do hereby honor and pay tribute to Mike O'Neill and thank him for his many years of public service and wish him happiness and success in his future endeavors. Done this 15th day of December, 2022.
Thank you.
This. We have so many things tonight. Okay, so we have the congressional record from Congresswoman Jackie Spears. They can't be here tonight, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
Oh.
It's so beautiful. You should probably stand up.
Oh.
So look at this beautiful congressional record from Congresswoman Jackie Spear. Wow.
That is pretty.
Isn't it? Wow.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
Well deserved. Sarah, guide me next.
So then the mayor will present the gifts to Councilmember O'Neill from
Okay.
the city and council members.
Oh my gosh, there's so many gifts we have for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's like Christmas.
Standard.
Okay, well here's the, wait, which one should I give first? Here's a really fun one
Open?
from the city, yes. Oh, you have to.
I think you'll appreciate it as soon as you see it.
O'Neill way!
Thank you. Those that have been in my backyard know where I got the cake.
This is another gift, a beautiful photo from photographer Sharon Walker, who's been doing our council photography for quite a while now.
And it's a picture of Sharp Park Beach from Maury Point. Thank you, Sharon.
Here's little additional gifts from council. And down here is something special that you can open after.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Pictures of myself with one on the fire truck in the parade, one of the 5 city council people, and one with me and Tiger kicking and me raising my hand for some reason in front of the new wall, actually, which was a thanks to Mary and Sue Beckmeyer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for everything. Yeah, yay! Do we let his son speak before council? Or? We let his son speak before council? No.
Public comments after council comment.
Okay. All right, council comments for Mike O'Neill. Who would like to go first? I know you have stuff to say. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Mike, I have plenty to say later, and it tends to be that you urge me to be brief when possible. And this being your last meeting, my gift to you will be thank you for taking me under your wing when I was running for council. You were one of about 3 people who I was able to call my campaign during that moment, and you were one of the 3 who got me through. And aside from that, your breadth of knowledge will be sorely missed. Around finance time, we're all going to have to learn to do our homework real quick. You're going to be missed.
Wow, that was short. You
That
taught
was
him well.
short.
Taught him well.
Short, yes.
Who's next? Councilmember Vaudelas.
Gosh,
I know, right?
this is hard. I've probably known you for, first I thought 20 years, but it's probably closer to 30
Yeah.
that I've known you. And I listen to you. I love what you have to say. I love the Mike-isms, like dancing on the head of a pin, or many other ones that I can't say out loud. I love all the Mike-isms, though. And I thought of one really good thing. I can talk to you on the phone anytime I want now, and I don't have to worry that someone has talked to somebody else and that we have to deal with the Brown Act. So we will no longer have to deal with the Brown Act.
Yeah.
Right, Michelle? That's right. And I'll just call you anytime.
Councilmember Beckmeyer.
Well, as I'm listening to the proclamation tonight, I'm remembering when I couldn't remember the years. I had to write it down. 2012, 2014, 2018. I remember 2018. But working on your campaigns in 12 and 14, I had no idea what the hell you were getting me into, Michael. Really, I learned a lot. I've always learned a lot from you. And I want to say that your leadership on the library issues has been inspiring, to say the least, but so many things that you've done affect me and my family so much. With the school district, it's where I work, my day job. The leadership and the things that you've done, that you've accomplished, that you've put in place for this community are astounding. And, you know, when you work for the school district, you're really like, ooh, the board members on site or whatever. And it was never that way when you would come. when you were on school board. Everyone was just like super excited to see you, super happy. It was relaxed. You always made it fun. And I have to tell you one little tiny anecdote that I kind of stalked you. You were saying you thought you'd known Mike for 20 years. I think it was 20 to 21 years ago. And we were at a Rob Schneider Music Foundation fundraiser. And I knew who you were, but you had no idea who I was, because I wasn't anybody. You and Chris Hunter were sitting together at a table, and I know who he was too. And I don't know if you were on school board at that point or you were on planning commission. So I don't know how the timing of the planning commission piece fits in, but I just remember totally eavesdropping on your conversation because I knew who you both were and all the exciting and interesting stuff that you were talking about. And I mean, just this free-ranging conversation, you were so easy with each other, and it was just a big moment in my life. I remember it distinctly, and feeling really a little guilty that I was sitting there like, trying to hear what you were saying. So anyway, I'm just appreciating all the leadership and all the love that you've given to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, so I met Mike when I was coaching his daughter, who's here tonight, Siobhan, and my daughter played volleyball together many, many, many years ago. But one memory I have of Mike is we were at Cabrillo School and the band had a sleepover, you know, like for a fundraiser, and they were in the hallway, and they were all loud and everything. I was trying to get them to calm down, and Mike just stood up and he goes, "Everybody be quiet," and it was like crickets. And I was like, thank God Mike is here. And I think that's how I feel about you now. I've learned so much from you, Mike, and it's been an honor to serve with you. And I know that you thought that me running might not have been the best thing for me. And when you told me that you felt differently about that, it meant everything to me. So thank you so much for being a mentor and my friend.
Thank you.
Whew, okay, we're going to open public comment. I know. You are our very first dignitary. Will be Mike O'Neill's son. Come on up.
Sorry, Mayor Beer, I think we'll
One moment, please. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
invite the dignitaries that are present to present to Councilmember O'Neill first. We have a legislative resolution.
No, I realize that.
Oh, okay.
But Mike really wanted his son to be able to speak first because he has to leave right away. So the dignitaries don't mind that, do you?
My apologies, thank you.
I know you wouldn't.
I did work all day. I could take a seat and rest for a bit.
No, go ahead, please. Please, you're up here, please.
Okay, so one of the first things I wanted to do was I feel like I have a very good flex on the city council right now because as much as and as long as you guys have known this guy, I've known him for 33 years. One other thing that I will note for those 33 years is I am 6'2", but I will always look up to this man. Always. I remember working on his very original campaigns, O'Neill Toll Scributanus. I still remember that sign because I still look at it every time I go over for Thanksgiving. I have never regretted working for you. Dad, that's another advantage that I have, is I don't have to call you Mike. I'll always call you Dad. But I will never regret working on area campaigns because in this age of where I feel there's a lot of political turmoil, you, the big guy, always are very, very sensible and reasonable. And I will tell you, of every single one of my friends that has ever met you, they always say, the big guy don't like it, I don't like it. Because you want to talk about a reasonable, fair politician that is about the community and always gives back every chance they get. You can define it by Mike O'Neill. 100%. Six years ago, I was able to swear him in as mayor. Very proud I'm able to be here and see on the sunset of it what's going to happen next. Because a guy like that does not rest. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much to our dignitaries who are waiting patiently. Nicole Fernandez, why don't you come up from Senator Becker's office and present a legislative resolution from Assemblymember Kevin Mullen and Senator Josh Becker's office. Hi, Nicole.
Madam Mayor, with your permission, I'm going to defer a moment of my time to Supervisor-elect Mueller because he has to leave.
Ray, hello.
I apologize.
Supervisor Mueller.
Yeah, so I just wanted
Woo!
to,
Yeah, woo!
I just wanted to speak real quick to all of you. First off, I don't know if Pacifica residents know it, but this council is absolutely beloved throughout the region for just the sincerity, authenticity, and love of public service. Mike, that sign, the O'Neill Way, is perfect for you. It's absolutely perfect for you because your way is so known, here in Pacifica, but throughout the region. Straight talk, common sense, to the point, and to serve the public. Always to serve the public and do the right thing. And so I thought that was great. And I'm going to move on to some other folks real quick. Mary, you are so full of love and joy, and you're so beloved in this community. And the mayor's mental health initiative that you were part of for everybody, but I know for you, so specifically for youth, made such an impact throughout the county. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Ray.
Tiger, I can't speak what's going to happen next, but I'm pretty certain I know what's going to happen next. You are the perfect mayor to come after an election because you care so much about what everybody thinks. You put so much empathy into your decision-making process. It's going to be an amazing year. Sue, congratulations on coming back. Again, the impact regionally. And finally, I'm sure she's here our new council member, Christine Bowles. So excited about the professionalism. It's amazing the education that you're bringing to the council, the passion that you're going to bring to it. I know you're going to add so much to this council going forward. So anyway, I just very excited about working with y'all in the future. Mike, very excited about working with you in the private sector. Thank you.
Congratulations to you, too. Okay, Nicole, it's your turn now.
Madam Mayor, may I return? Thank you.
No, you get the full time, by the way.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Honorable Council, folks in the audience, my name is Nicole Fernandez, and I'm here on behalf of the California State Legislature. I'm the District Director for Senator Becker, and I'm here also on behalf of Assemblymember Berman and Assemblymember Mullen. Berman just took over Pacifica, and Mullen lost Pacifica, sadly, in redistricting. So I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate the incoming council, the incoming mayor and vice mayor. Congratulations on leading such a wonderful town, which I've had a pleasure to get to know over the last few years. And I also want to congratulate incoming council member Bowles for the team that she's going to be a part of and just for the amazing knowledge and experience she'll be bringing to the dais. So congratulations, Councilmember Bowles. So I have a big framed proclamation for Mike O'Neill. And I just want to read very briefly, if you don't mind, on behalf of Senator Becker and Assembly Members Mullen and Berman. Whereas the Honorable Mike O'Neill is completing his service as a member of the Pacifica City Council and in recognition of the valuable leadership he provided to Council during his tenure in office and the exemplary record of career and civic service, he is deserving of special commendations. I'm going to skip the paragraphs in between because Mike already knows the story, but I'm going to wrap it up with, whereas through hard work and unwavering commitment, Mike O'Neill has compiled an impressive record of career and civic achievements. The Honorable Mike O'Neill should be commended for his exemplary leadership as a member of the Pacifica City Council, applauded for his outstanding record of business and civic leadership, and extended sincere best wishes for continued success in the future. Also, he's really awesome at karaoke, which I've had the pleasure to witness in person. So Mike, congratulations, and I hope your family is excited to have you back a little bit more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. I believe we'll be taking a picture with Nicole. take a picture with you? Okay. We also have Chris Hunter here from former Supervisor Don Horsley's office. Chris, did you want to come up? Thank you, Chris. I don't know if you were expecting that or not, but.
It's a pleasure to be here and to honor Mike O'Neill on behalf of the Board of Supervisors and Don Horsley. All the best and thank you for your work, particularly on LAFCO as a county commissioner. You've been very, very crucial in that element, and say I've been proud to know you as a friend for years, and look forward to seeing what you do next. And congratulations very much on your long tenure at the school board and in the city council.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chris. All right. Okay, we're going to continue on with our public comment. We have some cards. So if we could do Liz O'Neill first, followed by Elizabeth Berdal. And if you want to comment for Mike, you could fill out a yellow card in the back and turn that in so we can call on you next.
Hello, I'm Liz O'Neill, Mike's wife. Mike, I forgot about a lot of those things that Mayor Beer was saying about going back to the disaster committee. And Mayor Beer, I'm going to add on, he also was a volunteer at Cabrillo, IBL, Terra Nova, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. It just goes on. And where have the years gone? I am here to speak for your good friend, Lori Frater, who obviously can't be here. He is across the pond.
Aww.
Mike, I could say that I'm sad to not be there in person, but as I'm writing this beneath a clear blue sky and a temperature of almost 90 degrees, with a gentle breeze blowing through the nearby banana, pineapple, and coconut trees, that claim would be disingenuous. I am sad, however, that your term as a city councilor has come to an end. All the more so as this is not the result of an election loss or a willing retirement because of random term limits. Pacificans everywhere should be thankful for the thoughtfulness, the openness to discussion, the creativity, and the consideration that you've brought to all of the issues facing us, many of them difficult and divisive, not only in the last 8 years on the city council, but also on the elementary school board for many years before that. I offer you my gratitude for all of your years of service and wish you the best of luck post-council. I look forward to whatever the next chapters bring.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth Berdal. Elizabeth Berdal, followed by Linda Jonas.
Yeah. As you know, I'm on the school board and partly here representing them and representing myself and my family. As everyone's already said, he served 10 years on the city council and 14 years on the Pacifica school board. And I have known you for all of those 24 years, and I think probably 30. Pacifica School District was called Laguna Salada School District back then, and our daughters were in the same grade at Cabrillo School from kinder through 8th. Mike attended every school event, every play, carnival, math night, open house, I mean every one. His last vote on the school board was to surplus the Odstad property, paving the way for our workforce housing project. To this day, whenever I see Mike, he always has a new idea for funding, collaboration, housing, anything that might benefit the school district and the city. Out-of-the-box thinking, very creative ideas, and always looking to benefit all the stakeholders. I know Mike will continue to work for Pacifica, although maybe more behind the scenes now, but I know he will always find a way to be of service to others. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Linda. Linda Jonas is next.
Well, gosh, I can't remember which thing we worked on together first, Mike, but I was an accountant at the school district when he was on the school board for so many years, and then we've worked together for many, many years on the Pacifica Library Foundation, for Historical Society, the castle tours. We've done an awful lot of volunteer together, and he's always been a good guy, willing to do good for the community, and I'm just saying thank you very much for all of it, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. We have Connie Menafree next, followed by Chris Redfield.
Hi, Connie Menafee. Good evening, everybody. Mike has served 24 years in elected office in Pacifica. I don't call him Mr. Pacifica for nothing. Mike's contact list reads like a who's who of Pacifica and San Mateo County residents and luminaries. Mike was on the Laguna Salada School Board before it was renamed Pacifica School District. He was a trustee on the school board for 14 years. During that time, Mike was instrumental in shepherding school bond measures that entirely uplifted and modernized the district's K-8 schools. It was during that period that I met Mike. In 1997, we worked together towards passage of an early school bond measure that was critical to modernizing our dilapidated schools and constructing a brand new middle school. I later served with Mike on the PSD Board of Trustees from 2002 to 2008. Mike was always knowledgeable, dedicated, and collaborative. And going to a CSBA, California School Board Association conferences was a blast. I thank Mike for all he's done for Pacifica schools and for his many accomplishments achieved during his past 10 years of service as a Pacifica City Councilman. He's been a trusted colleague and has become a dear friend. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you, Connie. Chris Redfield, followed by Jonathan Markham.
Good evening. I just wanted to thank Mike for your, I think it's 30 plus years. I think the math is off. I think it varies here on several different things, but you can't beat it. In public service to Pacifica and its citizens. Those years included the Planning Commission, the school board, and I believe it's 10 years on council. And I also want to thank your wife and your family for sharing you. Thank you for your knowledge and insight on the issues facing Pacifica. Many major projects have successfully gone before council in the last 8 years. You've always asked the questions that needed to be asked on issues. You have always listened, and I've enjoyed our many conversations. I sincerely thank you for the example you set. One question though, what the heck are you going to do with all the free time? Maybe I should ask Liz. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Jonathan Markham.
Mike, when I came to Pacifica about 20 years ago to become a local pastor, I also came from across the pond, and so local politics and Pacifica in general was a complete mystery to me. I was fortunate enough, and I do not know when, to meet you. And ever since that time, you have blessed me with multiple conversations when you have helped me to understand things which I did not understand, to correct me when I thought things that you didn't think I should think. And I am extraordinarily grateful to you, and grateful to be able to call you my friend. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you, Jonathan. We also have a card from John Nibelin. John, did you want to go now or later in the agenda? Now or later? We like you. We like to hear you talk. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm John Niblin. In addition to being a proud Pacifican, I'm an attorney for the county. I'm actually the county counsel, and I've had the good fortune in that capacity to have known Mike as a client as well as a constituent. So I wanted to say just a few words about Mike in that capacity. You know, Mike is kind of like the model client. I think those of us who work in the county counsel's office are thrilled when we have a client like Mike, who is, decisive, but also curious, open-minded, approachable. The work that, frankly, I've probably 20 years ago that I first was assigned to work for the Pacifica School District, and Mike was one of the trustees at the time, and it was, again, for someone who's just getting into the county council business, working with school districts, again, it was great to have such a steady client, somebody who was such a good mentor to me. And then recently, gosh, working with the, I guess it was the the Jefferson Union High School District in their housing nonprofit. Mike has just found so many ways to get involved and has been, again, just an amazing client. So I wanted to bring the greetings of the County Council's office to you as you transition into the next phase, and just, again, sort of share how much we've appreciated being of service to you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. All right, we're going to go to the phones, see if there's someone on the phone who would like to comment for Mike.
We have one dial-in with a raised hand. It's the phone number ending in 2920.
Okay, 2920, you can press *6 to unmute, and don't forget to mute any background sound and listen through your phone.
Hello, can everyone hear me? This is Alana O'Neill Garland.
We can hear you.
All right, so like I said, this is Alana. This is Mike's youngest daughter. I unfortunately can't be there tonight because I live in a different state. But just wanted to call in, reiterate how proud I am of my father for all the years and effort and time he's put in. But even with everything he gave back to the community, he never missed a moment in my life or either of my siblings' lives. He was always there for me, and I knew I could count on him. And I'll always be able to say that his name is on my middle school graduation diploma, just like my siblings, just like he always wanted. But yeah, Dad, love you. So proud of you. Hopefully you'll be less stressed now.
Thanks, Alana. Okay. Is there any other calls? Emily, any other callers?
There are no other callers.
Okay, and I see no other cards. Is there anyone else? Okay, I'm going to close public comment, bring it back to council for the next part of our agenda, and I'll hand it over to Mayor Pro Tem. Right? That's what it says. Mayor Pro Tem.
No, I think I expected Mike to say more before we moved on to...
Yeah.
I told you I'm nervous.
I've been through
I don't know
a few
what
of
it is.
these, and that's the
Yeah, go
reason
ahead. Go ahead, Mike. You want to say?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I have to say, as people were coming up and talking, and Sue was there's a couple stories I have to say. Everybody knows knows I have a story. Okay, when the fundraiser that Sue was talking about was with the Rob Schneider Foundation. And it was like my first coming out party as a school board member, okay? And so, you have to go to the fundraiser to support the music program. And when you're a movie star and you have a trust, I guess a certain amount of money has to come from outside your wallet. So I went there, and there's all these people. There must have been 250 people there. But there were some luminaries, and I would bet $1 to anybody that I am the only one that has a program for a Rob Schneider Foundation program with the signatures of Bo Derek, Adam Sandler, Willie Mays, and there's a fourth one. I forget who the fourth one is, but that. And then the second one, Liz Berdahl, when I never knew I was moving on to city council, And Liz Vidal told her family that she was going to run for the school board. And Liz Vidal's daughter, who's now my daughter's age 30 something, said, "Well, that's Mike O'Neill's job. You're taking it away from him." So it's kind of funny. But anyhow, now getting to my prepared script, shorter than tigers. Okay.
Much.
Okay, so in 1998, I was given a gift by the people of Pacifica and was elected to the then Laguna Salada School District Board of Trustees. That was the beginning of the journey of elected office that ends tonight, 24 years later. Life is not about the destination, but it is all about the journey. My journey in public office has allowed me to meet some wonderful people, both residents of Pacifica and others not as fortunate as we are to live in our bit of this place we call Pacifica. As I went on this journey with you and the citizens of Pacifica, we've confronted challenges, both fiscally, emotionally, and physically. Coastal erosion, pandemics, infrastructure, and disagreements on how to move forward to a resolution seem to be the challenge of each day. In the end, whether I disagree with you or you disagree with me, I truly feel that all of us have the best interests of Pacifica in our hearts. I want to emphasize and warn that there are changes and challenges being forced on Pacifica. In order to mitigate those changes and challenges and maintain the quality of life we enjoy, we all have to work together, resolve our differences, and create a shared vision of what will become the new Pacifica. I want to thank the 24 other people, both trustees and council members, I have served with as well. That's 24 other people that have been elected by the people to serve in the various capacities, as well as the 4 school superintendents and 5 city managers that a couple of them were interim. And the 5 city managers that oversaw the daily operations of the Pacifica School District and the city of Pacifica. I want to thank my wife Liz for her support, as well as my 3 children, Sean, Siobhan, and Alana. I also want to thank the contributors to my campaigns, the volunteers who walked precincts and put up signs. Your help was invaluable in my getting elected. I have been fortunate to work with very competent, loyal, and good stewards on the school board and city council, and Pacifica has been blessed with a very dedicated, professional, and caring staff at both the city and school district to help the residents of Pacifica live their daily lives. I am proud of facilitating the 4-H farm at Lindemar School, remodeled schools on time, on budget, higher test scores at the school district. I'm also proud of the city of the equalization basin, general plan, Sharp Park specific plan, staff housing happening at Odstad, and the many other items that we as a council have voted on. I am most proud that I have had this support of labor through my elected office, and that we have been able to have relatively good relations with our employees of both the school district and the city. I'm also proud that there continues to be a dialogue with our other Pacifica government entities, North Coast Water, Pacifica School District, and Jefferson High School District. We also have good relations with our reps at both the state and federal level. All of these have been done with a team effort to maintain and establish rapport, which in the future will help Pacifica. I'm going to move on to civilian life, proud of what I have been a part of, thankful for the gift of public service the voters have given me, and with peace that the City Council will be in good hands with the staff and council moving forward. With the challenges we are facing in the very near future, I would like to paraphrase a quote from Robert Kennedy. Surely we can learn at least to look at those around us as fellow men and women, and surely we can begin to work a little harder to bind up the wounds among us and to become in our own hearts brothers, sisters, and Pacificans once again, because Pacifica means peace in Spanish. And I want to say all of us to remember that. So thank you. exit stage left now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
You picked up all his stuff.
Now I will hand it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
And Sarah, do council members make comment after we present gifts, before?
You'll go ahead and present the gifts to Mayor Beer, commemorating her term as mayor, and then we can open up comments from council members after the gift presentation.
Very good, thank you. So, as you know is tradition, you've been around a couple of years now. So we start by offering our outgoing mayor a plaque. It's a plaque wrapped in a box, wrapped in a bag, and ultimately is this beautiful gavel commemorating her time as a mayor, and that soon she will be liberated.
Yay, look at me. Thank you. Thank you.
From council and staff, we also have some additional gifts. Starting with one of these lovely Sharon Walker photographs.
Ooh, that one's pretty.
So
Oh, it's so beautiful. Look, it's beautiful sunset.
for those who can't see this far, it's a sunset.
Thank you, Sharon Walker, for your beautiful photography. Thank you. Thank you.
And then Sue, do you have anything on your side? I think it might still be in the... We have one more gift from the lot of us.
Thank you.
And you have no need to open it all extensively.
Yes, you do.
Yeah? Okay. You have need to open it extensively.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have to, whatever you want to do.
You tell me.
While Sue decides how extensively Mary shall be opening this, I'll be happy to let the audience know that what is contained in these bags and boxes are various artistic accoutrements.
Oh my God, it's all this paint.
Our Mayor Mary is quite an artist. Her art has uplifted the lot of us in large measure through this COVID time, and as we were trying to make heads or tails out of a council chamber that was not quite as lovely as it is currently, and we wanted to make sure she has the tools to continue offering her artistic gifts that heal us all as time will continue.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's really nice.
So with that, I think we'll get the ball rolling on some council comments. Nope. After we open this one.
Canvas too. Oh, the whole box of canvas. That's really nice. Thank you so much.
5,
I'll have to
one for
paint.
each of us.
One
5.
for each. Oh my God, it'll take me like 2 years to do that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I really
So,
appreciate it.
I'm going to start with comments.
Okay.
Because I have had a sense over the course of the year that there is some part of you that has wanted to be liberated from the duties of mayor, and yet simultaneously, as it tends to be, you're exactly the mayor we have needed over the course of the last year. You've helped us navigate the last of COVID between Zoom and in-person and Zoom and back to in-person, making sure that when we returned, we had a beautiful home to return to instead of the dingy, archaic landscape we left on the other side of COVID. And you have helped this community navigate some of its tenser moments. Somewhere between no longer being in person and looking at a screen and not quite knowing where person begins and screen ends, and several matters of community business that were really quite hard to get through, such as finishing the update to a general plan. There were a lot of emotions going on that were not easy to navigate. And with you at the helm, successfully those emotions were navigated. And it's hard for me to imagine that we could have had a more adept captain through those particular emotive swells. So, you did the task, you're here to tell the tale, and we are all better for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Tiger. Thank you so much.
Mary.
Suvalos.
I just love you, that's all. I too thought Mary is too nice to be on council. She's just too nice. And now I say, I want to be more like Mary. So she is nice. She's just such a wonderful person. And we started a long time ago too. And I'm glad we get to serve together for longer. Thank you.
Because I see your true colors.
True colors.
That's right. Thank you, Sue.
Mary. Well, I didn't know you. Move that mic, Mike. No, the mic.
Move the mic, Mike.
I didn't know you. We didn't know each other at all. And now I just love you. I'm so appreciative of your quiet, graceful, loving way that you approach everything you do. Your leadership is immense because of the approach that you take. You get people's attention in the most quiet and friendly and supportive and inclusive way. And you make a team, and you help everyone see the other person's side of things in a way that inspires me. And so I'm so grateful to you because you've helped me grow so much. And I'm very excited that we get 4 more years together.
Me too. Me too.
I love you.
I love you. All right, Mike.
I mean, Mary, I was not surprised you ran unopposed for re-election. I also want to say, for those that come to the council meetings, she has probably made the most impact on your life because you now have comfortable chairs out there. Okay? And that was her idea, in a building that does have heat. I don't know where it went tonight, but we do have heat. And actually, Kevin, before I left, says, Mike, look, before you did it, we did get 1 new window. And it's a new window. Okay? So, but all I can say is, Mary, you're an excellent mayor, one of the best I've ever served with between mayors and presidents of the board. I am glad we got to know each other better. There was that gap as our kids both went their separate ways. But I hope to keep in touch with you. And I think it's notable what Ray Mueller said, that when we go to the monthly dinner with the councils of cities, okay, which is a great opportunity for networking, and these are people that vote on grants and stuff, the Pacifica 9 out of 10 times has the largest contingent there because we go there and we work together. And a lot of that has to do with the leadership Mary has shown. And through the pandemic, through whatever, you know, but Mary, thank you from the bottom of my heart for what I've learned from you. Wow. Okay? And I appreciate your efforts and what you have done for the community beyond just city council, with the partnership, leadership and other nonprofits, everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
I have one more thing. Sorry. You know, I have to always think of one more thing to say. But Mary and I did something that no one ever saw. We did YouTube every other week. We did COVID conversations with council. And boy, we had the best time, and we interviewed people, and we had statistics, and we had great people talk. No one saw it, because no one ever watched it, but it's still on YouTube. But we had a great time.
We did. Thank you for remembering that. I appreciate it a lot.
So, I'm going to open it up to dignitaries who might want to say a word or two about Mary. Our newly elected county supervisor, Ray Mueller, has left, but perhaps Nicole Fernandez with Josh Becker's office, or Chris Hunter with Don Horsley's office, or John Niblin or Liz Bradall might want to say a word. There's no pressure if you don't.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure, Nicole.
And I see Nicole Fernandez with Josh Becker's office approaching.
Underestimate how much I love the sound of my own voice. Really. I just want to say, I was just thinking about this, I don't know if anybody pays attention to the news, but other city reorganizations have been hot messes. And I was just thinking, if I ever served on a city council, this is the one I'd want to serve on. You guys, we have 23 cities in our district, and this is such a beautiful coming together of a community and such a reflection of the diversity and the kindness that Pacifica offers, and this council is the heart of it. And Mary, it has been so lovely to get to know you while you were mayor, and just to see your beautiful leadership through difficult times has been such an honor, and I am so honored to call you a friend, and I'm so excited that you get to continue on council, and I get to be friends with the next mayor, whoever that may be, because all of you are wonderful in your own ways. So on behalf of Senator Becker, congratulations for a lovely year.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Chris Hunter with Don Horsley's office.
I just want to say on behalf of the supervisor, but also on my own behalf, you have been the heart of Pacifica, ears of Pacifica, and have helped so many people through so many difficult times. And as a board member, former board member of the Pacifica Resource Center, I know how much you have supported that organization and how much you have encouraged people to reach out and get help when help is available. And I know that you have been that for so many people, and I've seen you grow as a politician and a mayor, and I know your mom, and she would be so proud of you. We all are in Pacifica too.
Thanks, Chris.
General audience public comments will be received following the mayor's remarks, so you will have the opportunity to say something to Mary after her remarks if you so choose. Mary, all you.
Okay. Ooh, thank you so much, everybody. First of all, I'll start with gratitude, because I think that's what we need to have all the time. And so I am extremely grateful to my co-counsel and to city staff. We have the best city staff on the planet. They have worked through some extremely hard circumstances in the past year, and I have watched them do everything they could possibly do for our city. So thank you, each and every one of our city staff. Thank you so much. Plan Pacifica, come on. Right, Christian? Yes. Thank you for that. And thank you, City Manager Woodhouse, for being patient with me as I canceled meetings and just being kind and stern, because I think I needed that. I need someone to be kind and stern at the same time, because it kept me in line. So thanks a lot, Kevin, for everything you've done for our city. You know, everything that we do is about relationships. And I don't know if you could tell that by how we speak to each other, but it's really important that we come together as humans and that we connect heart to heart and that we make decisions that way. We can't connect head to head because nothing will get done. So if we can come to the table with our hearts open and the right kind of information, the true information, then we can get things done and we can do a really good job for our city. When I first started my term as mayor, I was asked to participate on the Mayor's Mental Health Initiative. It has been a life-changing thing for me. It changed who I am as a person and who I am as a council member. We were so successful, I got to work with former Mayor Giselle Hale from Redwood City, former Mayor and current City Council Sarah McDowell from San Carlos, and Council Member Eddie Flores from South San Francisco. And we were the working group who led the Mayor's Mental Health Initiative, and we had 16 other mayors sign on to our initiative. And I just want to tell you a couple of the things that we accomplished during the past year that I'm super proud of. Thank you, Chris Hunter and Don Horsley's office, for helping us secure $200,000 to have mental health first aid training and Be Sensitive, Be Brave training, which is suicide prevention trainings, in cities across our county, including our very own Pacifica. We were able to bring free training into our city because of money that we were gifted, right, by our Board of Supervisors. It's amazing what can happen when a few mayors get together and put their heads together and meet each other with their hearts. We also received a $250,000 grant from the Chan Zuckerberg Foundation, and that money went to Star Vista, One Life Counseling, and Daly City Youth Health Center. Sorry, that makes me emotional because it happens to be where I work. For free and reduced services, pro bono counseling services, staff recruitment and retention, mental health days for our caregivers. And then we were able to present at the Progress Seminar. So we brought the topic of mental health front and center to all of our electeds. And that needs to continue because we have to support each other, and we can't do our job if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so our mental health matters. And so the more that we talk about that, the better off we're all going to be. So it was a huge, huge honor for me to be a part of the Mayor's Mental Health Initiative. And I hope to carry that on as we move through the next year. I was also, and I still am, on CCAG, which is County and City Association of Government Bike and Pedestrian Committee. And through that committee, I was able to secure money for our bike and ped improvements on Esplanade and in West Sharp Park. And it's because of the extra things that we do on council by sitting on those regional boards and having relationships with the other people on those boards. We are able to do things like score applications and vote for projects and bring money into our city. I'm super proud of that. I want to continue doing that. We've had a lot of difficult things, like this past year. We had to make very hard decisions about our safe parking permit program for our folks in our motorhomes to help folks get housed. Our partnership with Pacifica Resource Center is extremely important to us, to our city, and to myself. So Anita, I want to thank you and all of your staff for continually stepping up and taking on the extra work that our city has given you wholeheartedly to help folks in our community get housed. I'm very proud of you. People weren't always very happy about that. So I had to deal with a lot of folks who were very unhappy in neighborhoods about that, and they were afraid. They were afraid that the program wasn't going to work, that they were going to, it was going to wreck their neighborhoods. But what's happening is that people are going to get housed. We also had to have some very sensitive conversations with other public agencies about the same topic. And I'm proud to say that we went into these conversations with an open heart and an open mind. And through those relationships that we built, Tiger and I worked really hard to build those relationships. We were able to come out with some kind of solution, some way to work together. Man, there's just nothing better than that. We have the tax measure. Thank you, Kevin, for Vision 2025. I can't see you because this poinsettia is in my way. Thank you. Vision 2025, brilliant. We passed the tax measure, thank goodness, because if I had to sit up here and fire people and cut programs, I couldn't have done it. I would have hit the road. I don't think I could have done it. But we have a relationship with our fire department, and it was fire who stepped up and went out and rallied for our tax measure. We now have a very good relationship with our fire department. These things are super, super important. And all of these things led in to the relationship that we formed to start Pacifica Pride. Wow, what an opportunity that was to work with Katie from Table Wine. If anyone has an opportunity to work with Katie from Table Wine, take it. She's just awesome. So we had Pacifica's first Pride. It was wonky and beautiful, and we're going to do it better this year, I promise. Kevin, poor Kevin. But now I'm a board member of Coast Pride, so we have Coast Pride support, and we're going to have a planning committee. We're already on a roll. Pacifica Pride is going to happen every year. It's going to be beautiful. And because of those relationships, we were able to address a couple other very hard things that happened in our community. Right? We had a pride flag that was burned up at Sunset Ridge. We had acts of hatred, which I'm not going to talk about anymore. But it was because of our relationships that we were able to come together, and we had a unity day up at Sunset Ridge. We've come together as the Pacifica Collaborative, and we vowed to work towards a more loving and open community consistently, so that this city understands that that is what we stand for. That we stand for love, and that we're going to do it together. And I could not have done any of this without you. And Elisa, thank you so much for being here tonight. I know it's hard for you to be here. I love you. That's it. I'm done. Thank you so much. Number 3. Bless you, Tiger. Okay, we're going to open up public comment on the reorganization. Hey, Emily, do we have anyone on the phone?
You do not.
Okay, we have no cards. All right, no cards. Would anyone like to come up? Suzanne, would you like to come up? Don't forget to fill out a card afterwards.
If anyone would like to speak on reorganization or say something to Mary, please fill out a card in the back, bring it on up.
Just as a reminder, this would be the time to speak on the outgoing council members, the selection of the mayor, mayor pro tem, also the election of council members and re-election of council members. So covering all of those kind of topics, this would be your opportunity to speak.
Yeah, that is a lot. I was actually hoping that we could do an extra public comment after we bring up our new council member, just because we want to bring Christine in with as much love as we're letting people go. So, okay, cool. Thanks, Suzanne.
Suzanne Moore from the Manor District. I want to quote Sue Vaterlos this evening and say, I want to be more like Mary. Thank you so much for all your hard work. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you,
and
Suzanne.
thank you all.
Thank you. Oh. Sorry, that's for after. Okay. Chris Redfield.
I may speak to the mayor, correct?
You may.
So I just want to thank Mayor Beer for an outstanding tenure as, excuse me, as mayor. You've done an excellent job representing the city and your constituents. You care deeply for Pacificans. Excuse me, it's going to be one of those nights too. And what they have to say. You form relationships with agencies and officials that can assist Pacifica in the future. I am grateful to have gotten to know you. Sorry. Looking forward to the next chapter.
Thank you so much, Chris. Don't forget to fill out your card now.
Remember that.
Hi, Sue.
So, Mary, I know you were concerned about being mayor, but proud at the same time, and you deserve to be proud. You did a great job. And one more thing I wanted to mention that hasn't been mentioned yet, but your work with the youth. I'm sure that that's a great inspiration to them, and what's super excellent about your work with the youth is that you listen to them and enable them to speak, and that's a powerful thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate it. We do have some cards, so we'll let Christine go, and then Anita, followed by Jonathan.
Sorry, I'm not being a good example in following protocol.
It's okay, we got you.
I just want to thank you for your year too, Mary. I know just from having met with you before you took this office and a lot over the last year, I know you've grown a lot in this year. But what I've noticed as a member of the public is how you welcome the public in to every meeting. You acknowledge people and make eye contact, you smile, you honestly really value the input of the people here. And we have so many people here who really care about our town and really want to improve it. And I just want to thank you for your leadership. It's been a really great example for me and part of the reason I'm here and want to serve as well. So, and I look forward to sitting up there with you.
We're going to do good, Christine. Thank you so much. Anita, followed by Jonathan.
So Mary, I just want to say that I have always known that you are a fierce and compassionate leader, and now the rest of the community knows as well. So thank you so much for your leadership. I so look forward to continuing to work with you.
You will. Thank you, Anita. Oh, my goodness, it's Jonathan.
Mary, I met you quite a few years ago when we gathered in a room to deal with the tragic loss of two teenagers. And I've had the pleasure of working with you from that time on. And I have watched you and grown to love you. I have the privilege of having you sitting in the pews of my church on a Sunday morning. I'm in awe of your leadership. I am in awe of your compassion. And I never would have dreamt when I first met you that I would see you sitting in that chair. But I am so grateful to you for being willing to do that. And I'm so grateful to God for the empowering that He has given you to enable you to be the person that you are. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, I think we're going to close public comment now. Thank you, everybody. And bring it back to council for our oath of office.
I think this is when I leave. Well,
Sarah, could you lead me now?
So now is the time that correct Councilmember O'Neill will step down from the dais.
Right.
And we'll begin swearing in of elected and re-elected council members.
Okay, Miss Sarah.
First, I'll invite Councilmember-elect Christine Bowles and Sue Degree presenting the oath of office.
I, Christine Bowles,
solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the obligation and I take, I missed the sign, that's all. Oh, and the Constitution of this.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
That I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duties upon which.
The duties upon which.
I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Councilmember Christine Bowles, elected by District 2. And I'm presenting Councilmember Bowles with the certification of election presented to her from the County Elections Office.
Christine, join us. Join
Go
us.
time, baby.
Welcome.
I am so humbled and honored.
Okay, Miss Sarah.
Now I'll invite Councilmember Beckmeyer, and her husband, John, will be presenting the oath of office to Councilmember Beckmeyer.
I, Susan Beckmeyer, do solemnly affirm
I, Susan Beckmeyer, do solemnly affirm
I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that
I will bear true faith
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation,
without any mental reservation
purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
on which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Councilmember Beckmeyer, elected from District 5. And I'm presenting Councilmember Beckmeyer with her certificate of election from the County Elections Office. Now will invite Mayor Beer to the podium with her daughter Elisa, who will be presenting her oath of office.
Okay.
A. Beer,
I, Mary Kay Beer,
solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Mayor Beer, I'm presenting the certificate of election from the county's elections office for your election as council member from District 3.
Okay, I would like to open up public comment for the reorganization, and then we can bring it back to council for their comments. Do we have anyone who'd like to make public comment on the reorganization? I have one card for Gail Benjamin.
Just wanted to congratulate you all on your re-election. Mary, you had a great year as mayor, great leadership. Tiger, Mayor Big Stick. Just hope that you can all find consensus going forward and that you will all just, what Mary said about having an open heart and work together, because that's all we're ever going to get anything done. Congratulations to Mike. I imagine we'll see him in some other role very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Do we have anyone on the phone?
We do not.
Okay, then I will close public comment and I will bring it back to council for comments. Council members, we have new council members. Christine, would you like to go first?
On the reorganization? I'm sorry, I'm new to this.
You have comments now.
Oh, I have comments
Yes.
now.
Would you like to?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I've actually been trying to write something all day. I'm an introvert and I like to be prepared, and I couldn't today. I just kept going around in circles. There's so much I wanted to say. There's so much emotion in this moment. First, I just want to say how honored and humbled I am to be here before you. For those of you who voted for me, for those of you who worked hard to help me be here today, I'm really grateful. I know this is a community that is a very special one. Bob and I realized that when we decided we wanted to move here back in 2004, and I see examples of that in everything I do, in every place I go, you know, online, how people jump in to help each other when they see that there's a need. This is a really special place, this town of Pacifica. And I know people really value people who have lived here a long time, and people measure, I think, you know, some of their ability to lead maybe, you know, through some of that. And so as a relative newcomer, I am even more humbled to be here in this place before you today. I never ever imagined I would go into politics. And it's funny because as I campaigned, and I really had no idea what I was getting into, so I'm going to thank and blame Peter Loeb for that, who's here in this room. I've learned so much from Peter over these past few years, and other people in this room, Sue DeGree and Jim Kramer and many others who have taught me about Pacifica, about the special place it is, about our history, about our wonderful ordinances, and you know, preserving our hillsides and how much people cared. And I really, you know, I really dug into those things. Last Christmas, I have to tell you, I spent in the Historical Society library reading all the articles about the HPD ordinance and how it got passed and all the public comments and so forth. This is really a very special place. And I was thinking back to, you know, I've been working as an architect professionally for 35 years, and had gotten to a point where I'm a little bit bored with our work, and so started coming to council meetings at first looking at planning issues, because those were things that I knew well and felt I could help with and wanted to improve, and then I just got really interested in all the stuff that you're doing and the challenges the city has, you know, in terms of budgets, in terms of climate change adaptation and so forth. And came to realize that I had some skills to offer that could be useful on the council. And so I'm really here, you know, not as a politician, but as a volunteer to serve you all. And I also want to let you know that I really am a team player, and I want to be friends and work with you all. It's very different being on the other end and only having 3 minutes and, you know, having a lot to say in that time. And that's one of the things I'd like to keep working on to try to improve is our public engagement, and how we can not just take a comment, but how we can actually have conversations, because there's a lot of people here in this room and back at their homes who really want to help improve our town too, and we could use the help. That's what I'm seeing. I was thinking back to one of the other great honors I had was back when I was in college at MIT, and it wasn't anything academic. I got voted the most knocked on door on campus award. Because I'm a good listener, and I'm a person that people like to come to and you know, trust with information. And it was funny kind of being on the other side of that now, having to knock on a lot of doors. But that was an amazing part of this process this past year, is actually really getting to know our community, you know, having conversations at doors, having conversations about, you know, complicated topics like coastal erosion and the Manor overcrossing and so forth with our residents, and really trying to dig in. And those are the things I really want to continue. So I want you all to know that my door is always open, and that I want to try to build better public input and respect and partnerships, so that together we can all continue to help improve the city that we all so dearly love. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Councilmember Beckmeyer.
Well, I don't have a lot to say, but I do want to thank my husband, John, who was the core of my life and was absolutely the most helpful, the most willing to help and do anything I needed him to do during the campaign. One thing I learned about running when you're seated on council is it's a big difference when you're trying to be a leader and keep up with all of our council packets and all of the issues and our committee work that we do and the just all of the schedule that you will learn, Christine, is, you know, it's an amazing feat to pull it all together. And, you know, we all have day jobs too. So, yeah, putting it all together. I also want to thank all the people who voted for me and who supported me in being here. And I look forward to serving you, continuing to serve you. And I want to thank Paul Curviton for being willing to step forward. And, you know, Christine mentioned being a relative newcomer, being an even more relative newcomer, to really step forward and be willing to help our community. That's impressive. So here's what I'm here to tell you. There are at least 3 times a year, we're having committee and commission interviews quite frequently. Feel free to join us. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of roles and responsibilities for all who want to become involved. There's really no end to it. As we know, if you look around this room and think about the decades, centuries of years of time that people in this room have given to our community. So I look forward to the next 4 years. We have 8 years if we're fortunate enough to be reelected to contribute what we can. You learn fast. You know, it's a good thing that you went to grad school, because I'm telling you, a lot of what I felt like I'm doing another master's degree, honestly. And for me, a big area of my interest and focus has been our coastal issues, and how do we really grapple with the fact that we have sea rise, and the fact that we have bluff erosion, and the fact that we have people who've invested their life in our community, and it is their home. It's their family's home. How do we protect it? How do we protect ourselves? And how do we take care of our geography, really? It's a big challenge. It's an amazing and rather daunting feat to work on those issues. But I think we demonstrated the ability to do that. It wasn't perfect, but we got it done. And, you know, we have some real basic key documents. Our foundation for our city is now squarely accomplished. And that's something that I'm, quite honestly, you know, knew it was coming, knew we had to do it, but couldn't imagine how it was going to get done when I was first elected 4 years ago, because it hadn't gotten done for so long before that. And we did it, and we pulled together. We can do that. We've seen this community pull together, and anytime there's a need, a crisis, and now we need to pull together to help ourselves avoid future crises. So I'm looking forward to it, and thank you.
I think I'll just take one moment and thank Robbie Bancroft, who is my pal of all pals, for putting himself out there, putting all of his heart and soul and his energy and his style and his class and his fun all over his campaign. And just know, Robbie B., the world's got way bigger plans for you. Love you. Thank you for putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
All right, it's now time to select a new mayor. I move that Tiger Jazz Twirl's Big Stick becomes our next mayor.
Second.
And I'll do this by roll call vote since we have a seated council component. The motion to select Tiger Jazz Big Stick as the new mayor made by Mayor Beer and seconded by Councilmember Vaterlas. I'll start the roll call vote with Councilmember Bowles.
Yes.
And Councilmember Vaterlas.
Yes.
Councilmember Beckmeyer.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Big Stick.
Oh, yes.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Big Stick.
Yes.
You want him to be.
Mayor Beer.
Oh, yes.
And that motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mayor Big Stick. And now, Mayor Big Stick, you may now switch seats with with Councilmember Beer.
Woohoo. Mike, don't forget your whiskey.
Okay. So, as my first job, I call for the selection of the new Mayor Pro Tem by nomination and a second.
I'd like to move to have Councilmember Vaterlas serve as Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second that.
And with the motion to select Councilmember Vaterlas as the Mayor Pro Tem made by Councilmember Beckmeyer and seconded by Councilmember Beer, start the roll call vote with Councilmember Bowles.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaterlas.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckmeyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Beer.
Yes.
Mayor Big Stick.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're done.
I'm basically going to take 20 minutes to say everything Mike said in 2, so. So buckle in. Well, Pacifica, you just hired and then relatively quickly in turn promoted some guy named Tiger Jazz Twirls Big Stick to be your mayor. Let's all let that sink in for just a moment. But you did hire some guy named Tiger Big Stick to be amongst your proper 5 decision makers, so you must have seen something more than an eccentric name, and I'm being generous, when that name came up. When I changed my name in 2009, Gene Bartlett wrote an article about it for the Tribune entitled, "What's in a Name?" And before I go on, I want to remind Chris Redfield that he was absolutely correct when he expressed his concern that I might lead with an inordinate amount of philosophical bent. But I've never been a mayor before, so humor me a few moments. Unlike the majority of my words to date, these I've actually written down so that there's every certainty that I'll be bringing them home by the time my gums have finished their motions. And I do want to begin with levity in this fashion. Governance, for good reason, must take itself far too regularly, far too seriously. But I wish to lead with joy and start with a solid sense of the absurdity of our common lives together. Because any moment, as like as not, we will be masticating and metabolizing something other than joy together. And it is right and proper to be reminded of the togetherness that is Pacifica before we get back to business And invariably, the most pernicious sense of amnesia will quickly overtake us all. Some of you will wind up hating me or us for a decision made over a particular issue you have a conviction about. We on council might grow resentful of some of you who, from our perspective, can't see what we see by which we draw our conclusions. And inevitably, you will all start acting with rage toward one another for believing very strongly and very differently. So I'm going to begin with humor, dressed in ceremonial tie-dye, by reminding you that my name is absurd and that mostly so is life, at least in recent memory as I've understood it. For those of you who are not council aficionados or rabid spectators of local governance of varying degrees, the specific role that delineates mayors in most common law cities is simply that the mayor is the member of council who runs the meetings. Given that this is the role I am stepping into, facilitator of the myriad voices that make up the decisions that will find their way to guiding this entire community, consider that this function is what informs the observations, musings, and hunches that follow, and probably also those that precede. If you know me, you know that I'm a writer by trade and a storyteller by nature. And the story I'm here to tell is a simple one. Nothing is more dangerous than a human who believes that they are right. I'm going to repeat that because it is close to truth as I've come to understand it, and it will inform something important. Nothing is more dangerous than a human being who believes that they are right. Now that applies to citizens, but so much more does it apply to us 5 people with our fingers hovering ever constantly over the binary switch that will seal our collective fate, that we must keep this premise at the forefront of our minds. It is at the forefront of mine, and I will proceed with our discussion accordingly. Because we are you. We are citizens. And as the 5 who would be the voice of 37,000, if you don't know that we are listening, we are never going to earn your trust. Aside from being a writer, my other trade is being a grocer. With intention, I tell you that you can find me at the Lindemar Safeway 5 days out of the week, 8 hours out of the day. I'm not suggesting we back up the checkout lines. I am suggesting that it takes almost no time to whip out a business card and connect for the sake of me making sure that I make time to hear how you think we can make our community better for everyone. I have done what I can think to facilitate transparency, accessibility, and an open mind until the last moment that the switch is pressed or the roll taken. I say all of this as together we approach those issues that we are going to have to work through together. We are nowhere if you don't feel heard and if you feel like trust is missing. Part of it's a matter of physics. There's 5 of us and 37,000 of you. I've given you one solution where I'm concerned. Find me over there. And part of it is that city staff is generally overworked, doing a yeoman's job of trying to be as available as possible as they're feverishly working at the way too much us 5 good-natured people have heaped gratuitously upon their plates. Past what might feel like excuses to some of you by now, I've begun addressing my perception of a rift between public and city by calling upon our city manager to investigate creating an educational series, a sort of citizens academy that might lend nuance to one's understanding of the work our staff are constantly performing. More important than that to me, however, I just want the public to have an opportunity to chat with staff in a comparatively informal context to dispel the notion of some sort of iron curtain that might somehow be inferred as a natural consequence of a lack of time for designated interaction between public and our staff who spend their existences constantly doing all they can to create a community we all hopefully enjoy living in. While a fully open door is pragmatically infeasible, I think every department head being designated 2 hours a year to catch up with the people they're serving is not too much to ask, and if my fellow council members agree, a notch for the work plan in March. Regardless, I can tell you that the way I formed my relationships with staff was by arriving at these council meetings a little early, and could easily form relationships and understanding accordingly by seeking it out. An opportunity that was robbed of us during COVID, and an opportunity once again open to us all now that our doors are not shut. It is important to me that the city strive to uplift our capacity for civil discourse, because that is the skill we are going to need. Never mind the update to the housing element. Christian, I'll never be able to tell you adequately how deeply grateful I am that you are our planning director in this time and place. But beyond our state-required conversation about where we should identify potential for upwards of 2,000 new units, which is a conversation that always brings out the most congenial and unbiased feedback from all our constituents, as you can well imagine, we have plenty of large fish to fry which have nothing to do with where the state says we must focus our energies and conversations. Our library is deteriorating, dilapidated, and outdated for the needs of our community. I've had the distinct pleasure of visiting what we deserve in the form of recently built libraries in Brisbane, Atherton, and Half Moon Bay. I see the facilities we are lacking for the proper growth and development of our youth, for our parents, for our students, for our citizens of all ages and economic backgrounds, from those seeking jobs to those established in their fields and the retired alike. We have a beautiful plan to enrich our lives and bring vitality to a neighborhood that would be a beating heart of our community, and it's time we moved forward with that plan. Speaking of moving forward, I think we deserve to be able to move 100 feet in any given direction in this town without rolling into a pothole. Out of 101 cities in the Bay Area, we're number 1 in the worst conditioned streets of 101 cities in the Bay Area. And the next words must be something about how expensive repaving that much street must invariably be. Frankly, Pacifica, it's up to you to decide if our quality of life is worth the price tag. Personally, I want to know what it would look like to have a center of inclusive learning and shared community creation, the library, and even half of our streets rehabilitated. And I'm not naive, which is why I think preparing us all to talk it through will yield the sweetest fruit. Which brings us to the whale in the room, where Pacifica, elephants are for over the hill. Perhaps it's an elephant seal in Pacifica. The Beach Boulevard Resiliency Infrastructure Project, also known as BBERP, which long or short is an interesting name to navigate, and also the most important infrastructure project our city may see for the next 50 years minimum. As far as I'm concerned, it's not about building a wall and calling it a day. It's about protecting our community, protecting our infrastructure, and once we know the heart of our community is momentarily safe, then having the much more difficult conversation about what phased adaptation thereto from really is and what it looks like. How many years of study, planning, and action it will take to manage our coastline responsibly. Rather than shouting at one another the two common views that either the end is nigh or those crazy people want to let our city physically fail, because I've heard the screaming matches. And I'm here to tell you, responsible planning cannot exist under those conditions, and we need to act before our infrastructure crumbles to the sea. This Pacifica could be a place where we wrestle with ourselves to see each other, as opposed to the far more likely task of wrestling amongst each other in the unlikely pursuit of getting someone else to see you. I mean, to take another's perspective as though it were one's own. If we all fought for each other rather than against one another, what a miraculous place to exist this would be. And I understand that human nature is a thing, but as I strive with myself to see each of you as you clearly are, and as I can, and work accordingly, I offer the opportunity to consider in kind and join us in the pursuit as you deem reasonable. Because I'll tell you right now, we will be discussing the housing element, we will be discussing the seawall, we'll be discussing the library and the roads, and we'll be discussing homelessness. We'll be discussing substance abuse, we'll be discussing coastal erosion and the Coastal Commission and surf camps and short-term rentals and manor overcrossings and sea level rise and economic development and interagency land swaps and affordable housing and workforce housing and market rate housing and whether or not to use the Roy Davies Trust Fund to fix parks. Look it up if you don't know. And paying for storm drainage to alleviate flooding and cell phone towers and wetlands and wildlife-urban interfaces and the fire danger that they bring, and disaster preparedness, tsunamis, earthquakes, and animal overcrossings and policing and trail management and augmenting clean energy and getting rid of plastics and respecting Native peoples and child care and elder care, and have I mentioned the basic city services. And apparently I can't visit my grandmother for a week without one of my fellow council members having to call me to ask if the hazmat truck is serving a house in my district or hers. A special shout out to the firefighters I forgot to mention during my communications last Monday, by the way. So trust is earned, not given, right? And I hear you when you tell me that you want to be able to trust more who you have hired to represent you and who we hire to serve you. And the first thing I can offer is for you to come find me over there or send me an email. Phones are going to be a little trickier for me because of my time between day job and night job, but if you need to talk, I'll call. We can grab a cup of coffee or whatever. I'm either right over there or I'm right here. Tell me how we do it better. In the meantime, while we actively work on that piece, I urge the tone to be civil with one another, let alone us. Somewhere I seem to recall hearing a phrase, since we're going to be neighbors anyway, we might as well be friends. And if the level of discourse, as we begin again the journey of city business, will not bear the higher frequency of consciousness collectively commonly referred to as civility, then I will admonish you now that you might understand with clarity later. I will listen to the best of my ability what each and every one of you tries to say to me, but I will always hear you better when you are not shouting at me. My hunch is my fellow council members likely have hearing about as good as mine. Pacifica, as many, if not most of you know, is Spanish for peaceful. And after Mr. O'Neill's speech, all of us do know that now. Let us work together to live up to the name of our home, the name of our community. Chris Redfield. We are one perspective, a prism fractured for the sake of creation, that then we may be more than the cumulative sum of all that exists or could exist. I want to thank city staff, all of whom really do work tirelessly so that we can have the best community possible. Thank you, community, for giving an odd cat such as myself the opportunity to steer the conversation for a moment to see where it will go. And thank you to my colleagues for the same. I see so many friends in the audience and family too. I'd be remiss if I didn't greet our guest, Nicole Fernandez from Senator Josh Becker's office, our new county supervisor, Ray Mueller, Chris Hunter from Don Horsley's office, school board member Liz Burdell, former Mayor Sue DeGree, former Mayor Peter Loeb, executive director of the Pacifica Resource Center, Anita Reese, and our county council, John Niblin. And I hope I didn't miss any other dignitaries in the audience. And I'm so grateful to see my family here. My Aunt Tammy, my Aunt Susie, my Uncle Mark, and my mom. Thank you, Mom, for life and the circumstances by which I could choose to take on this role for my community and by which they could allow me to serve as I have expressed the desire to do so. I love you, Mom, and I am so grateful you are here tonight. So I was going to end with "Now let us eat cake," which I hoped would be a humorful hearkening to revolutionary France. However, I got word a couple of days ago that Martin Letcher had passed on December 1st. Mr. Letcher had been a custodian for the school district while I was growing up. I seem to recall him at both Odstead and Ortega. Clearer at Ortega, I was older at the time. The accuracy of my memory notwithstanding, however, I remember him when I was a kid going to school, and as an adult, I've been given the opportunity and honor to serve him in the grocery store, as once upon a time he had served so many of us growing up. After a lifetime of impressions accordingly, I will miss him, and I wish to adjourn this meeting in memory of Martin Letcher accordingly. Let us eat cake.